Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Daniel Hood Roofing. Spring in East Tennessee always means stormy weather. It's a constant. And when the storms hit, you don't want to be left with stains on your ceiling where water has gotten through your roof into your attic. The problem is if you're just waiting around looking for the stains to tell you, oh, I've got a leak, well, your roof's probably hiding that from you. You've got moisture coming in before you ever see the first stain in your ceiling. Have a free inspection done. Daniel Hood Roofing come out, they'll show you pictures, they'll show you the instruments they use. They can actually measure the amount of moisture that gets through there. If there's nothing there, they're not going to try and sell you on anything. If there is something there, they're going to try and get you a new roof and get your insurance company to pay for it. DanielHoodRoofing.com. All right, we got a poll for you today. I wanted to get you involved here. The question is, how do you feel about Tennessee's recent recruiting rankings and draft classes? Some of you have already gone online and done this. Your choices: things are getting better, baby steps but progress, or need better in the bigger SEC. Use your smartphone to click on the QR code and tell us how you feel. Or if you're old-fashioned, go to sportsource.tv/polls and click it there. Tell us how you feel and we'll watch those little digits change. Looks like right now need better in the bigger SEC is the leader. Will that change? Okay, let's take a look at some numbers. I always do these every year. We've been doing them for 20 years now on the show. What you see there, instead of just looking year to year, which is much more up and down, this is a trend line. What we do is this goes all the way back. That far line over there, that column on the left, that's 91 to 94. Tennessee had 25 guys drafted in those 4 years. The black line shows you the number of first-round draft picks over that period. So from 91 to 94, they had 7 first-round picks, 25 guys drafted. You see it go way up, that 2000 to 2003. So that's the 98 guys. That 2000 to 2003 draft classes, Tennessee had 32 players picked over 4 years. Not 32 different players, but 32 selections there over those 4 years. 5 first-round picks. And then look at that ski slope through the early 2000s all the way down to 2013 to 16. Just falls off the cliff. You see it starting to bubble back up there on the right side. But my question is, you still don't have a lot of first-rounders. So we'll get into that in a second. But let's take a look at Tennessee versus the SEC, all right? So since 2022, just the last 3 years, since Heupel's been around, a lot of other programs have changed coaches too. The number in white is the total number of draft picks over those 3 seasons. The orange number, that's the number of first-round picks. So you look at Georgia, 33, 28, 27, down to Texas with 16. Tennessee in the ballpark with Texas, Missouri, Kentucky, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, Tennessee, all with 13 draft picks over the last 3 seasons. But you see the difference, those first-round picks. Georgia, 10. LSU, 4. Alabama, 8. Texas, 3. Florida had 3, but they haven't done anything with it. So when you look at that, I would argue, considering what he took over, and you look at those total numbers and where you are, I think Heupel's done a pretty good job. I wouldn't have expected that number after 3 years when he first got here. At the same time, does the number of first-round picks undercut the argument that it's getting better?
I don't think so yet. I mean, a lot of it's because Tennessee is not on the same tier with Georgia, LSU, Alabama right now. They just aren't.
Nope.
And so where you are is you're right at the top of the tier with Kentucky, with Missouri, with Ole Miss, and that's kind of the neighborhood you live in right now.
And surprisingly, Oklahoma.
Yeah, yes. And so can you improve from that? That's going to be, I think right now with what he lost when he took over the program, I think Heupel's done a good enough job with it. You would like to be better. You have to be better to be elite again. But based on the players that he had, a lot of this is, especially when you're a first rounder, first or second day guy, it's are you an elite athlete? Who has Tennessee had that's an elite athlete or has elite size? They just haven't had those players.
How do you feel about Tennessee's talent? Is it getting better there, or do you feel like it's just kind of?
Well, I'm kind of glad the bottom didn't drop out if you hadn't hired the right guy. I mean, that's what I was sitting here thinking, that, boy, this could have really gone south. So, I mean, I think you're getting to like the point where it really does need to improve, right?
Yeah.
You're adding 2 top programs to stay abreast of what's going on. You need to recruit better than the middle of the pack.
Yep. Okay. Ryan, what do you think about the talent level you saw there? What are you reading from that?
I think it's encouraging for Tennessee that they're only 3 draft picks back from Texas, which was number 4 on that list, and Texas is a college football playoff team. So you clearly are in that discussion.
With as much NIL money as anybody on the planet, too.
So to Will's point, you're not in the same tier with Georgia, Alabama, LSU. You're just not, because they're producing as much NFL talent as anybody in the country. But you're putting NFL players out on a regular basis. Now it's about, can you take that next step? Can the Nicos, the Arion Carters, can those guys develop into big-time NFL players? If they can, you're going to be fine in a few years. I think this next 2-3 year period is really key for Tennessee in a lot of ways, but that's one of them.
Bob, most people there are saying needs to be better in the bigger SEC. In fact, it's going more in there since we started, so put it up. Continue to click for us. It doesn't change much once you get past 100 or 200 votes, so it doesn't change a ton, but keep playing. It's really going up there on the last one, the most negative answer. Do you agree with that or no?
Does it need to get better? Yes. But you're also looking at, leave LSU out of it for a second, with Georgia and Alabama, you're looking at oddball numbers. I mean, you're
Ohio
talking,
State's the only other school in the country that compares.
State. So yeah, you need to get better, but are you going to get there? You're probably not. I would think it will be more likely you will improve, but they will eventually come back to the pack somehow. I think that's what's more likely to happen than Tennessee really shoot up there, because yeah, you're right. You're just a few away from Texas, which played for a national championship. So to me, you're in a situation where you got anomalies you're having to deal with.
All right, when we come back, I want to take this in a little bit different direction, something Ryan touched on earlier, and I want to get Bob's take and everybody else to chime in. Obviously, it helps the program. If you're churning more guys in the NFL, makes it easier to recruit, no question. But is it a necessity? Are we going to be sitting here looking at that correlation saying, no, if we're not putting more guys in the pros, we're not going to be able to get there? We'll ask that next. Come on back on the Sports Source.